Every app you use, Uber, Spotify, Instagram, Amazon, is secretly hundreds of applications talking to each other behind the scenes. When you open Instagram, posts appear instantly. When you play a song on Spotify, your playlist loads in seconds. When you book an Uber, nearby drivers suddenly show up on your screen. Have you ever wondered how all this data moves between apps and servers so quickly? The answer is APIs. And today, we are going to understand the most popular type of API in the world, that is REST API, in just 4 minutes. What is API? API stands for Application Programming Interface. Let's start with a simple example. Imagine you are sitting in a restaurant and want to order a pizza. You don't walk into the kitchen and make it yourself. Instead, you tell the waiter what you want. The waiter takes your request to the kitchen and the chef prepare your food and the waiter brings it back to you. In the world of software, your app is the customer, the server is the kitchen, and the API is the waiter. The API acts as a messenger, carrying requests from the client to the server and bringing back the responses. Now, what exactly makes an API a REST API? REST stands for Representational State Transfer. But don't worry about the complicated name. REST is simply a set of rules that developers follow when building APIs. The first rule is that everything has an address. These addresses are called URLs. For example, a URL like slash user slash 123 represents a specific user with ID 123. Just like every house has an address, every resource in a REST API has a unique URL. The second rule is that REST APIs use HTTP methods to describe the actions. These methods tell the server what we want to do with the data. Get is used when we want to fetch or read the data. Post is used when we want to create a new data. Put is used when we want to update the existing data. Delete is used when we want to remove the data. So instead of creating separate commands for every action, REST simply uses the standard HTTP methods. The third rule is that REST APIs are stateless. This means the server do not remember anything about previous request. Every request must contain all the information needed to process it. Think of it like ordering food item from a restaurant every single time as a new customer. So the waiter doesn't remember your last order. So you need to tell them exactly what you want each time. This makes REST API simpler, faster, and easier to scale. Let's see a real world example. Suppose you open a Spotify and want to see your playlist. The Spotify app sends a GET request to a REST API endpoint. The server receives that request, checks the database, finds the playlist associated with your account, and sends the data back. But the server doesn't send a fancy interface or web page. Instead, it sends the information in a format called JSON format. JSON is simply a structured way of representing data. The Spotify app reads that JSON data and displays your playlist on the screen. All of this happens in a fraction of a second. Whenever REST API responds, it also sends something called as status code. Status code tells the client whether the request was successful or not. A status code of 200 means everything worked perfectly. A 404 status code means the requested resource will not be found. You have probably seen the famous 404 not found error before. A 401 status code means you have not authorized and need to log in first. And 500 status code means something went wrong on the server side. These status codes help application understand what happened and decide what to do next. You might wonder why REST became so popular. Before REST, many systems used something called SOAP. SOAP was powerful but also very complex. It relied heavily on XML, required strict rules, and often involved large amount of data. REST simplified everything by using standard HTTP methods and lightweight JSON data. It became easier to build, easier to understand, and easier to use across different programming languages and platforms. As a result, REST quickly became the industry standard for web and mobile application. So let us summarize everything. A REST API is simply a way for application to communicate with servers. URLs identify the resources, HTTP methods define the actions, JSON carries the data, status codes describe the results. Together, these components allow clients and servers to exchange information efficiently. REST APIs have more concepts like endpoints, request headers, authentication, tokens, query parameters, rate limiting, versioning, and best practices used in real life application. If you would like a complete beginner to advanced explanation of REST APIs, comment below in the comment section REST and I will make a detailed video on it. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe our channel. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you in the next one.